Verse 51. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون. So for this verse we'll use the Tafsir of Sayyid al-Tantawi, who was the Shaykh of the Azhar a few years ago, probably a while back, but just for the barakah of the place, the Azhar, and the Mashayikh and the ulama of the Azhar. He says, وَالْمُرَادُ بِالنَّفْخِ. Well, the intended meaning of the word nafkh in this verse, huna, in the context here, النَّفْخَةُ الثَّانِيَةُ, is the second nafkha. Now, the nafkha refers to the blowing, and we know it's trumpet. It has to do with qiyamah. So this part of Surah Yasin has more to do with what happens after death. While previous sessions or sections in Surah Yasin was a reminder that there is something as death, a revival, that life is given to beings who have no life, that the life is taken from them and they are revived again. So here we are reminded, and particularly the mushrikeen of Makkah are reminded that there's going to be a revival, and that revival will start at the nafkhatu الثانية, the second blow, التي يكون معها البعث والحساب. And at this second blow, two things will occur. Number one, al-ba'ath, and number two, the hisab. So the ba'ath is the resurrection, that is reviving the bodies after they have died, and it's the original body parts. And the theologians go into such technicalities that it must be every single atom that made you, that you were made up of, and that we were made up of on the dunya. Because if it's different arms and different limbs and different colors and lengths and heights, then it's not the same person. And that means the thawab, reward, or the adhab, punishment, is going to someone else. So that's the detail they're going to. Wal hisab, and the hisab is the account. Literally, hisab means to calculate, but here the hisab means the dishing out or the recompense of reward, which is multiplied per good deed. And then there's the adhab, which is the punishment, and it's one bad deed recorded for one bad deed. But the thawab is multiplied, and depending on the niyyah, of course, and if your intention is sound, then the reward for one deed could be from 10 rewards to 700-fold. And the 700 is not taken literally, it means there's no end. Therefore, the niyyah that precedes our deeds will weigh heavily on our scales on Qiyamah. Basically, that the deeds we can do is either hasana, a good deed, or sayyi'ah, a bad deed. It's called hasana because it makes the face, the wajh of the person, hasan, beauty. Beautiful. It beautifies the person's face. It beautifies your being. And a sayyi'ah is basically something that disfigures and brings darkness. And therefore it has that feeling when you say it's sayyi'ah. So there will be a hisab on Qiyamah, which occurs after the ba'ath, the resurrection. And there's a famous saying of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He said, hold yourself to account in this dunya before you are held account by Allah ta'ala. So find a way every day to bring yourself to account for what you've done wrong, recognizing the flaws that is within us and how we may make the niyyah to improve ourselves tomorrow. The next word in the verse, وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ, the word sur is al-qarn, he says. It's a horn. الَّذِي يَنْفَخُ فِيهِ إِسْرَافِيلٌ, and the one who will blow into this horn is Israfil. And he's one of the 4 archangels. Jibreel being the one of wahi, Mikael the one of nourishment, Malak al-Maut or Azrael, the angel of death, and Israfil, the one who blows the trumpet. وَلَا يَعْلَمُ كَيْفِيَّةِ سِوَى اللَّهِ. He says nobody knows the true reality of this trumpet except Allah. There are, however, narrations in the books of Tafsir attributed to Ibn Abbas and various Mufassirin be it of the Sahaba or the Tabi'een. For example, Imam Ahmad Sawi says that his Shaykh Sayyid Ali bin Abdul Haq, in his commentary of the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, says that one of the Sahaba described the trumpet, the surah, that it's made of pearls. It's white, it is pure like glass, with an opening which surrounds the heavens and the earth. So you have narrations, but here Sayyid al-Tantawi is saying nobody knows the kayfiyah, exact howness of how it looks except Allah. The next word in the verse, وَنُفِخَ فِي السُّورِ فَإِذَا هُمْ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ فَإِذَا هُمْ, so then they will be مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ. He says أجداث جمع جدث. It's the plural of the word جدث بفتحتين. So it has two fathas here, the jim and the dal, jadath. Kafaras, it is like the word faras, which is horse. Wal afras, and the plural of faras, horse, or steed, is afras. Wahiya al-qubur, and the meaning of jadath or ajdath is grave. Al-qubur, the graves. So let's make sense of this verse. وَنُفِخَ فِي السُّورِ, and when the sword or trumpet is blown by Israfil alayhi salam, the second time, it brings about two things. The first, the ba'ath, the resurrection, and then the hisab, bringing to account. And then they will come forth min al-ajdath, from our graves. Ila rabbihim yansilun, to our Lord, our Rabb. And again, Rabb, from the word Rabbaba, means tarbiyah, and the word Rabb, tarbiyah, means to nurture. And a Rabb is one who brings beings into being from nothing into something, and then nourishes that being for every single second of that being's existence until the desired limit he desires to take you to. That's a Rabb. He won't leave you alone until he has taken you to that limit. And then he takes you back to himself, and after that he gives you life again, and then gives you what you deserve, and basically engulfs you with his mercy. And he judges you on the basis of his mercy, not on your understanding of how he should judge you and others. That is a Rabb. The next word, ينسلون, أي يسرعون بطريق الجبر والقهر لا بطريق الاختيار. Yansilun means that you are speedily, like in a fast way, taken on a path, in a road. You are pulled basically, al-jabr, with a coercion. You have no choice, wal-qahr, and might. La bitariq al-ikhtiyar, without having a choice. So in other words, at that time when the trumpet is blown and the ba'ath takes place and the hisab takes place, you won't have a choice to still think about and make a choice. Okay, should I do this or shouldn't I do that? Should I repent now? Should I believe now? Should I treat people well? Can I make amends? No, that is going to be, there's no choice, there's no ikhtiyar. Where this world is the darul ikhtiyar, it's the abode of choice. You can make the choice to change. And no one can tell you you can't change, because the very person who bombed up the Kaaba and slaughtered one of the Sahaba in the Kaaba, who's Hajjaj bin Yusuf al-Thaqafi, yes, he bombed the Kaaba, he killed one of the Sahaba, and but he still invented at least the dots that we use under the Quran, that when it is narrated that his last words were before he died, "Oh Allah, all your creation says there's no hope for me, and they've shut the door of mercy for me. So I'm asking you, if the door has been shut for me, where you have told us that the door is not shut for anybody." For example, when the Khalifas were asked about him, they said, "We leave the matter to Allah. You can't, this is the abode of choice, and he made his choice, so we can't, regardless of how bad somebody was, we can't judge. Allah judges, and whether we like it or not, if he forgives, he forgives. Not that we condone anything that's bad, but the door of choice is open in this dunya until Qiyamah." The next word, he says, "An-naslan yansilun." Naslan, al-isra', it's to do something speedily, fi sayr, in a quick, fast way. أي, in other words, والنفخ في الصور النفخة الثانية, the blow is the second blow, فإذا بهؤلاء الكافرين, and then those who disbelieve and rejected, الذين كانوا يستبعدون البعث وينكرونه, those who pushed this idea of resurrection away and rejected it, يخرجون من قبورهم السراعا, they will be resurrected so swiftly from the qabrs, بدون اختيار منهم, without having a choice, متجهين إلى ربهم, وما لك أمرهم ليقضى فيهم بقضائه العادل, and they will be moved swiftly towards their Rabb, and the affair won't be with them, the affair will be with Allah Ta'ala, who will then judge them by the judgment of what is we call al-adil, of justice and fairness for what they did. So in summary, this verse is talking about a time when choice won't matter to us anymore. That time it's up to Allah. We're here, we still have the choice. So the mushrikeen, and we can take this lesson to us, that we have a choice now to do what is good and do what is right, and that choice will determine how we are treated in the life to come.